Welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it's your fresh start. We gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing in your relationships, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilling, you're not alone anymore. We are so excited. This is episode 1 of season 2, and we got a lot of our OG coaches from season 1, but then we got a lot of fresh faces joining us in season 2. Vinna, why don't you give a little explanation why we started the whole Chronic Health Collective?
So we started Chronic Health Collective 1 year ago because we have this vision that we need to collaborate with coaches from different modalities to give you the best information you need to live a chronically healthy life. And that's what this collective is all about. It's about helping you build your health, your freedom, and better your environment in every way that you can.
That's amazing. So in the first season, we just finished our Chronic Health Collective Masterclass, where we celebrated 1 year with all the teachings from all our coaches from the first year. Going on to second year, we got a lot of new exciting things planned for season 2. We got a lot of new faces. And let's just go around a little bit round robin and let's everyone introduce themselves a little bit. I'll go last since I started today. But yeah, let's start with Minna. You're next on the little screen there.
So I am, the other part of the Chronic Health Collective show host. Me and Annie started the show last year, and we also have another show called Chronically Healthy Life. So our goal is to give you all the necessary knowledge that you need to build a chronically healthy life without living on medications and to truly live your life to the fullest. So me as a skincare entrepreneur, productivity consultant, I've worn a lot of different hats. I've done a lot of different things. I've worked, as full-time jobs. I have businesses with Andy. We've had good businesses. We have really bad ones that they're epically failed. We've done all of it. So now we are starting a skincare company called Kunis, and the focus is to empower women to not cover up with the makeup and just to show the whole face. And if you look at me, I have no makeup on right now, and I know it's not perfect, but I'm showing you my full self. So that's me. Let's go to Amanda. You're next. Amanda, you're on mute.
All right. So I'm Amanda Beth. I am an intuitive healer and a wellness coach. And I bring big-hearted, big capacity humans from that overthinking and over-responding to bring them into what really lights them up and help them to build momentum that really feels magnetic, so they can stop feeling so burnt out, disconnected from the life that they've built. I use intuitive healing and some energetic clearing as well as some aligned strategy. And I help you to redefine success on your terms so you can lead with power, presence, and peace. I am planning on this season. I am bringing some really good vibes and some visions for everyone to, bring you to what really lights you up and help to identify that, follow through with it, establish some goals, and be you. So hoping I'm bringing just the right amount of fire that you can do this with ease and grace. That's what I'm bringing this year. What do you got going, Christy?
Oh, hello. Everyone knows me, the co-host of the other show, the Chronically Healthy Life show. But I have been a teacher for 1,000,000 years, and I have seen the devastation that the current system causes, both not only to the kids, but to the families and to the teachers. It's just this vicious cycle of abuse, essentially. And so it's my mission. What I want to do is I want to bring transformation to I have a big, hairy, audacious goal of bringing transformation to the whole education system. Like the whole system needs to just be like chucked and start over. But it's much easier than it sounds. So, but for parents right now, teachers right now who are listening to the show, we can strategize, give you lots of tips and strategies you can use right now today that can help you in your classroom. And just like Amanda Beth just said, number one is presence. Being present with the kids when you're in any kind of education setting, whether it's at school or at home or whatever that is. So that's pretty much it. I'm busy with our other show as well. I get to meet lots of wonderful guests. Everyone here, I think I got to meet on the show. So it's fabulous. And you guys are going to be amazed at how wonderful everybody is. So I'll pass this off to Dawn.
Hi, everyone. Dawn Amalza here, coming to you as a guide in emotional alchemy this season. It's a great pleasure to be back, and I'm looking forward to learning and growing with our new coaches here. And there's just so many things that we can look forward to in the year to come. And I think my biggest focus that I wanted to share this year from lessons learned in last season is that we all have pretty much the same heart and message that we want to share as a collective, right? And we all have studied, we've all learned, and we are just, looking for all types of solutions that we can share with others in helping with everyone in their journey. And I think, in our space where health and wellness has become a very popular stigma in society, there's also a lot of red flags also that we want to make sure that people are informed correctly so that they can make the right choices for themselves when they go on this journey of healing, whether it's spiritual, their faith, or just wanting to learn other ways to be able to heal themselves. And so integrative medicine has been a big thing for me, and I love the technology that's come along. It's still new, yet it's been around, and so that's the kind of things that I'm going to hope to share this year, and giving different tools, whether it's digital biofeedback and being able to just do an assessment for yourself to see where you have imbalances, whether it's your meridians, your chakras, your emotions, and then also having collective group sessions to gather with people who really are on the same page as what we're doing here, so that we can share our stories, share our experiences, share the tools that we've all have, looked into, the goods and bads of it, and sharing all of that. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also some individual coaching. I think collective is a lot more effective, but I'll make myself available for that as well. But I just want everyone to know that, I think we don't realize the self-betrayal that we put upon ourselves. And so I hope that I'll be able to help everyone with different tools, remedies, and not just managing the emotional craziness that we put upon ourselves, but really be able to shift into a different realm and have a much more positive experience. So thank you. And I look forward to hearing from everyone. And I'm going to pass it on to Janine.
Okay, peace and blessings, everyone. I am Janine. I'm an ancestral medicine woman, a spiritual healer, and I am founder of Ancestors Bosom. Yes. My path is rooted in spiritual herbalism. And so that's the practice of working with plants as living teachers that help us reconnect with our own spirit and with the wisdom of our ancestors. And so in my work, I walk with those who are ready to remember who they are at a soul level, to align spirit, mind, and body, and to live with clarity, peace, and purpose. And so in my work, healing begins with remembrance. And so we remember that we are never alone, that our ancestors walk beside us, guiding us through the language of nature, and that the plants are what carry their whispers. And so many of us are walking around disconnected from our bodies, from our intuition, from our lineage. And so my role is to guide people back into remembrance. And we use plant allies, rituals of rest, and intuitive practices to clear those energetic blockages and to call the spirit back into harmony. And in my work, I have witnessed people release years of anxiety, myself included, emotional heaviness and confusion. And the beautiful thing is that we are able to do that not by trying harder, but by surrendering into our truth, right? And so that's the heart of my offering, helping others align with the sacred rhythm that has always been within them. So it really is a journey of coming back home to yourself. And tying that into spiritual herbalism, it isn't only about what the plant can do for your body, but it's about what these plants can teach the spirit. So for example, rose teaches us love and protection, or lavender teaches us calm. It also helps us clear boundaries. Nettles teaches us resilience and rootedness. And so when we listen, we find that these teachings help us release the patterns we've inherited and those patterns that no longer serve us. And so we can reclaim the gifts of our lineage, right? And leave those wounds and the trauma behind. And so my own healing really began when I slowed down enough to listen. And so that's something that I really encourage clients, and that I'll be encouraging you all, the viewers, to do over the season. I was searching for something that was deeper than what modern wellness could offer me. And I really felt the ancestors guiding me back to plants. And so through quiet rituals, sitting in the presence of herbs, I began to hear what my spirit needed. And the plants became a bridge, connecting me not only to my lineage, but back to the earth and to myself. And so that's really how Ancestors Bosom was born, a space where ancestral remembrance and spiritual herbalism meet, and where healing becomes a sacred act of reconnection. And so over the season, I'll be bringing forward conversations and practices that help you experience that same remembrance within yourself, practical ways to weave in ancestral wisdom, spiritual herbalism into your daily rhythm. We'll talk about things like herbs for emotional and spiritual balance, ancestral rituals for rest, and how aligning with the cycles of nature can help you live in harmony within yourself and with your lineage. And so, again, my invitation is simple this season and in my work overall, and it's just to listen. That the ancestors are always speaking through the wind, through your dreams, through the plants that grow around you. And when we listen, healing begins. And so as we kind of begin this journey together this season, I invite you to slow down and listen to your body, to your intuition, and to the whispers of your ancestors, and allow the plants, the breath, and the rhythm of nature to guide you back to yourself. I just hope that through our time this season, you'll feel more rooted, more alive, and more at peace, not just surviving, but truly thriving in alignment with who you're called to be. And so may this season awaken something sacred in all of us. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And Leandra, you're next.
Yay. I am Leandra Prey. I am a life and dating coach, and this is my first season, and I am thrilled to be here and just be part of this wonderful group. And I'm just listening to all of y'all. I'm so excited. So where I help women, I help specifically women, I help them get back into the dating game after a long dormant time of not being out in the dating world. And that could be because they're widowed, they're divorced, or even if they're single moms that were never married the first time. So a lot of the women I help haven't dated in maybe over 2 decades. And that can be really scary when you say dating. Everyone will say, oh, let me give you every dating horror story ever. And they tend to believe that. And my thought is, then how are all these marriages happening? Because at some point, people had to date to get married. So it's just teaching them to not believe the horror stories and believe that there is someone out there and that there are actually gentlemen in this world. And so I teach that through a series of your mindset, right? Having that belief that you're worthy, that your past is not your fortune teller, that it is just your teacher, and that you have the ability to break patterns, that you're not going to attract the same people that you attracted in your past. You're not going to date your ex-husband and start that again. We'll help you figure out what caused that in the first place and help you break free of that. So there is a lot of coaching around your mindset, a lot of coaching around what caused that. A lot of that the reason why we get stuck in these hard relationships, or why we had to get a divorce, or why we couldn't get married in the first place, is because maybe we didn't know how to have proper boundaries. Maybe we grew up in a self-pleasing, people-pleasing childhood. And so learning to identify those patterns is what helps us create something new. So there's a lot of just, teaching people how to do think of themselves in a new way, and think of men in a different way. There's a lot of teaching on resilience, because people think when you date you're getting rejected, and I want to say that is not it's just not your flavor. We're not each other's flavors, right? It's like when you go to the nail salon and there's 300 nail colors to choose from, if you've ever gotten your nails done, and you choose one for that week, right? Out of 300 nail colors. Or you go to Baskin Robbins, you're choosing one for that week. So if you think about dating, you're not everyone's flavor. You're not everyone's nail color. And it goes back and forth. And so part of that is learning not to see it as rejection, is that we're just looking for a match, or we're just looking to see if we're even compatible. And that takes time. And so you're not going to know, maybe the first or second date. And there's many available. So I teach a spirit of abundance, in that there are great gentlemen out there, and also learning to treat our men with love. A lot of us have come from really rough backgrounds. And if we grew up in the feminist movement, there's a lot of spirit of criticism, a spirit of pride. And so I help say, how do we affirm our men that men are good? Because sometimes they get a lot of battery in that, so in the culture. So anyway, those are the things that we'll be talking about throughout this process. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna jump in here, and I'm a good man, I think. Anyways, you're gonna have to ask Minna about that. But anyways, today, we have a few other coaches that weren't able to join us. Some are traveling, and some of us are just busy with work. And as entrepreneurs, we understand that. So we have Jessica Hammock. She is a trauma recovery transformation coach. Really amazing in helping people deal with trauma. I'm gonna let her, talk about herself when she comes. I cannot do justice for what all these coaches can do. But she is handling another emergency right now, so she should be putting on. We got Cable Jones. He's a self-healing high performance coach, and what he does, I have no description on how to do it. I think I think the people that has experienced what he does, like Don, Amanda, Christy, will probably have a better understanding what he does. It's very interesting. I'm hoping that more people can see his gifts, because it is something that is hard to explain. And I'm hoping that he can jump on today. If not, of course, we'll be seeing each of our coaches in upcoming episodes. And then, of course, we got the dynamic duo, Kelly Fox and Terry Sire from the Fearless Generations, mother-daughter duo, helping people deal with the fear, right? They're one of our OG coaches, and Minna, myself, and they have such great strategies on stretching what is fear to take it as a norm and move forward anyway, right? And to me, that's really, really powerful, because so many of us right now is always facing fear. But enough about that. You're going to see a lot more of them. I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself. I figure, me and Minna spearheaded this, the Chronically Healthy Life 4 years ago, and the Chronic Health Collective a year ago. When we thought of the Chronically Healthy Life 4 years ago, we really wanted to have our mission to bring chronically healthy life. And when we say chronically healthy life, we want to, put the, basically want to tip the whole belief system that people think when they hear chronic is a bad thing, right? Chronic can actually be a good thing because it's all what you think about, right? And when we talk about life, we use the acronym longevity, independence, family, and it's interesting because a lot of people say, "Hey, Andy, you're a longevity coach. You talk about nutrition. Why do you have all these other coaches part of the Chronic Health Collective?" And this is very similar to exactly what Leandra says. It's like everyone throughout their life needs to pick a different flavor during that time in life, right? Maybe we have a relationship problem. Maybe our kids are flunking out of school, or we have an ass hat as a teacher. We want to pull the darn kids out of school, right? Maybe, we had a loved one pass away, and we don't know how to deal with the grief. Like, we don't know how to tap into the grief of those loved ones. Maybe we have a shitty husband, like Leandra says, and you just have to dump his ass, and you need someone to help you find a new husband. Leandra's the gal for that. And, with Amanda and Dawn, it is so important to connect with our energy, right? Like all of us, if anything, in the last 4 years, I learned that health isn't about just eating and exercising. Everyone thinks about that. That's all it is. There's so much more on a spiritual level. And in the last 4 years, so much more on the intuitive level, right? So many of us really know when we tap into our intuition, our mind, body, soul, upper power, whatever you want to call it. Somebody is telling you what needs to be done, right? It's like Janine says, your body always has signals that's telling you something's going on. You just need to listen to those signals, right? So that's why we started the whole Chronic Health Collective. As for me, my title, I call myself a functional longevity expert. My background is in functional nutrition. I deal with helping people reverse symptoms by dealing with the cause, right? Symptoms. If somebody's having problems, I want to go upstream and go this, and it could be, toxins in your body, parasites in your body. It could be maybe your body's been damaged in a certain way from physical activity, chemicals, put that lightly, that's been put into your body, and your body no longer has the ability to heal itself, right? So for me, my passion really is to inspire people that it doesn't matter what time in life you are. When I'm saying time, I'm talking about age. Everyone thinks as they get older, they break down. I call BS on that. I really believe that, we can always continue to grow and regenerate, keep our wisdom, keep our physical health. And that's really what I'm all about. And like I said, when we started this whole show, the Chronic Health Collective, I realized it's not just the food and exercise, which I specialize in. It is everything, right? It's like in our families, if we have family dysfunction, guess what? Your health is going to go down, right? You have a bad partner, your health is going to go down, right? Your energy is being drained by some vampire energy person. Guess what? Your health is going to go down. And then, like I said, if there are, I really believe there are certain ways that you can tap into your intuition, into your healing. And, maybe sometimes is listen to your ancestors, right? I love what Janine does. She brings in a completely new perspective into, the Chronic Health Collective this year. And, we, this is supposed to be a long episode. We have a whole hour. So I'm going to throw everyone in a bus and we're just going to go round table. And I'm going to ask a question to one person. Once that person answers, you're going to ask a question to the other person, just to deep dive a little deeper. Let's make it a little fun, because sometimes it's hard talking about yourself, right? So Janine, since you're one of our new coaches, I'm going to throw you under the bus first. So Janine, I come from a little village.
How did I knew it was coming. Okay.
So I come from a little village in Hong Kong. Like, my little village literally still exists, where there's no running water. Like, it's a little village. We have a shrine that has every single, in Chinese people, like, they have these little plaques, and we have all the shrine of ancestors. I don't know any of them next to my grandfather. What do you think the importance of connecting with your ancestors? Oh, I scared her away. I hope she comes back. I think
She's-
the ancestors told her.
Ancestors like, nope, not answering that.
No, Andy,
I
this
think-
is your ancestors. They don't want you to know.
They're like, Andy, shh, shh.
Oh my God,
Andy.
Jenny, what happened? Is that my ancestors canceling you out?
I don't know what happened. I just disappeared. The ancestors pulled me out. No, I'm joking.
Oh my God. Are you still there, Janine? Are you still there?
Okay.
Okay, yes. You're back. You're back. So how important are the ancestors? Apparently my ancestors don't want you answering the question.
Yes, I'm back. I'm having some connectivity issues, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I missed the question.
My question is, how important is it to connect with your ancestors? And how do you do it?
Give it to me one more time. How important is it to
Connect with your ancestors, and then how do you do it?
I would say, I mean, from just my perspective and my lived experience, and then the experiences that I have with my clients, it is very important to connect with your ancestors, right? You know, a lot of what we experience today is rooted in our lineage. And so to truly understand ourselves and to truly even understand like where we've come from and where we're going, you know, being connected ancestrally is very important. I do believe that part of our you know, spiritual journeys are rooted in our lineage, you know, or even some of the blockages and things that we experience come from our lineage. Some of the grief that we carry it could be in our lineage, or even I think about like the work that Leandra does. So like a lot of our relationship disconnects, right? Our anxieties and traumas around relationships are from our lineage, right? The women in our family were this way, the men in my family were this way. And so here I'm carrying all of that. And so a lot of times it goes unchecked and it could really get in the way of things if we are not even thinking about those kinds of connections. And so how do you do it? It really begins with listening. It really begins with curiosity. It really begins with asking the question, why is it this way? Why am I this way? Where did these thoughts come from? Or where do these patterns come from? What have I seen within my family? You know, what do I feel within my spirit around these issues? And just listening for the answers. Now, obviously, Herbal Allies can help amplify that experience and amplify our knowing and our understanding. But that's how it begins. That's why it's important, and that's how it begins.
I love it. I love it. Let's get you to shoot off a question to one of the other coaches.
Okay. I'm gonna pick on Leandra. Hey, lady.
Oh no. Maybe she'll be back.
For Janine.
Well, actually, we do have a question for Amanda. Can I jump in here and ask Amanda a question? Okay, Amanda, if your wellness philosophy were a smoothie, what ingredients would be in it, and what would you call it?
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to own up to this one. This was a question that was posed earlier. And it's like, oh, I've got the answer. I've got the answer. So my wellness smoothie, because these are the principles of what I think are really so important that we bring to the table or to the cup. And that would be to have your boundaries, to have good, solid boundaries, to have forgiveness and learn what it is to be forgiven as well, so that you can go forward with everything with a big old heaping of some unconditional love and self-care. Swirl it up with gratitude. And then we're going to actually stir this whole smoothie up with fresh air and aligned momentum. And we're going to sprinkle it with love and put it in a big old cup of grounding. And I'm going to call it Rooted and Rising. That's what I think my recipe for wellness would be, and to have all of those things together. And gosh, I don't think I'd want to put a lid on it. I'd want those sprinkles all showing everywhere. So,
Awesome.
I suppose that means I am supposed to ask a question of someone else. Oh, Minna, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and then you can ask the next question.
Ask the next question. So I think that's a really cool question. So Christy, what would your educational philosophy look like as a smoothie?
Oh, heavens. Well, you were so eloquent, and you're doing really well with your languaging. She's been writing a book. That languaging is starting to come
I've had
together.
some excellent coaches in my life. Thank you, Christy. But I just love the idea. But if you were to put something together, and maybe Christy, it's not a smoothie. Maybe it is we're coming into October, so let's look at that. What's bubbling in your pot of stew or your cauldron? Your magic of educational principles and the things that we need to be putting into education that is so missing for the children and the families out there.
Well, we have to start with the foundation of joy. The joy has to come back in. Children are naturally joyful, and it literally gets, let's see, what's a good metaphor? Stirred out of them, crushed out of them like little nuts. And so we start with the joy, and we bring the joy back, and then we build the fruit salad. It's a fruit salad. It's definitely a fruit salad. We build the fruit salad with lots and lots of different things because kids are individuals, and one size fits all doesn't work. So it has to be a lot of flexibility and just going with the flow while teaching them real tools. So the real tools would be the bowl that the fruit salad is in, the structure of that gives them a real tool to work within. But within that bowl, everybody gets to be the fruit they are, or the nut, as the case may be, and they get to experience and get joy from the others, and they work together and enhance everybody's experience. So it becomes this beautiful, nourishing thing for their whole lives, and sets them up for if you eat fruit salad for breakfast like I do, it's a nourishing way to start the day. So it sets them up for having a life where they're living with purpose, where they don't have to relearn everything we have to relearn as adults that we talk about here, like spiritual connection and dating mishaps. I think we should do an episode called Dating Ben and Jerry's, and whoever has the worst dating story wins the Ben and Jerry's. But for the kids, it doesn't have to be that way. And if we stop it now is a negative way, but if we change it now, if we transform it now into something wonderful for them, it brings everybody up. It brings the parents up, it brings the teachers up, it brings everybody up. So, yeah, I'd call it up with fruit. I don't know. Uplifting fruit.
This would be, go back to your banana idea. Your banana idea you had. Your banana books.
Oh, banana mindfulness.
Banana
That's
splits,
right.
yeah.
Frozen banana. Yes. They have to be a frozen banana. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the best things of this panel. It gives us the opportunity to work with each other, not only in the panel, but also off screen. we get to work together and get to know each other. And that's what I'm really looking forward to this season, as we have new folks and get to mix up our fruit salad with folks we know too. So
Definitely.
I love that. I love that. I think Janine's connection is fun. I'm not going to ask her any more questions. I think it's me cutting her off. It must be my ancestor energy. But Janine, is there any quirky question that we can play some fun with Leandra? It's like, let's pick on Leandra. She's a newbie too.
Well, I'm not good with quirky questions. I was just going to ask Leandra, what does she see most as like the biggest barrier to clients, her clients who really want to get back into the dating scene?
Yeah, the biggest thing is the safety. Not safety like, oh, people are dangerous. So I'm looking at my intuitive healer and probably you with the ancestry. So usually when people have they're married, the first marriage, we're so innocent, right? We just go in and we're just like, yeah. And then terrible things happen, right? Or even if terrible things happen in the past. So I think the biggest pattern I've seen with women that have been abused either in their first marriage or childhood. So part of the people that were abused in the first marriage were abused in their childhood, is that getting close to someone, like they want to date someone that lives out of state because that equals safety. So the idea, they're like, I have this great relationship who comes in town, for the summer, and that's safe because then there's no possibility of going any deeper. Or so I see that a lot, or they'll start dating a really nice guy. I mean, great guys, right? Because I'm like, gentlemen exist. And then they'll do something to self-sabotage it or pick at it. There's a lot of picking that happens. And what I mean, they'll pick it apart. They'll pick the guy apart. And part of it is that past where they're just like, something terrible is going to happen again. And so they'll just inevitably self-sabotage it or not even get it started. And so a lot of and then they'll say the story, there are no good men out there, based on what they just did. So, but yeah, so the trauma, or even if they've gone through therapy, because, a lot of women I've worked with have gone through therapy, they still, even though they've gotten closer in their personal relationships and at work, right, they're creating, this is like the final step to getting there. And so that takes some love, affection, non-judgment, and then a lot of belief, right? So that's probably the biggest thing that I see. And so now that I've been doing this for a couple of years, I've learned to ask better questions when we get into the past. I don't coach around trauma, but I coach on, hey, we're creating a new future here. We're not in your past. So, but yeah, that's where I see the common thing. So the work that you do, you and I don't know, I feel like there's so many coaches, Jessica, I feel like it'll be a good support system for any of the women I work with that will come into this collective.
Is it all right if I jump in and ask a question? Because I didn't get to ask. Because I have one for Dawn that's going to connect to Leandra.
Yeah, go for it.
Dawn, so what she was just saying about women tending to pick apart men after bad experiences where they've been traumatized, how can they raise their emotional awareness and connect more to their heart so that they can stop that pattern without, feeling guilty and shameful about it?
I think the first thing that anyone can do is they want to make this shift, right? I mean, we talk about awareness as the first step, but you kind of have to want to make that change. Otherwise, you can go to all the coaching, read all the books, and you're never going to take action. And so I think once you're you're willing, you're really open to learning more and making that change, that's the first step. And then the awareness, of course, is the next thing. But you know, when it comes to like what she was talking about, I think I would also be a great subject for you, Leandra, because I come from divorced parents at age 3, right? So that affected all my relationships. Then I had kids myself as a single parent. And then I just had many, many bad relationships after that. And so thank goodness I've done this work on myself. So to help, you know, people that you're helping, yes, really helping me. But yeah, so the emotion side, what I want to say, okay, so yes, of course, they want to make the change. They need that awareness. They need that education. But it's also important to connect with the right individual, right? You don't do it alone, but find the right person, because if you go to someone that doesn't resonate with you in your heart and you're excited about it, about making the change, the excitement has to be there, the desire has to be there. And so once you make the right connection, then the rest of the work is just going to be fun, because you're seeing the progress that you're going to be making. So it really doesn't even matter what modality, what coach, whatever. It's just connecting with the right environment and the right information. And then there's also the other spin of there's all these emotions that come with dealing with these experiences that people don't really recognize, that may not have been inherited through experiences, but there's all these other metaphysical stuff that most people don't like to talk about because it's a little taboo. You know, like, okay, here Janine is having a little glitch again with her internet. And my intuitive, there she went. So my intuitive guide is saying that she got these 2 little gremlins that's messing with her, and that's why he's knocking out her her internet here. So I'll ask her for permission if she wants me and Amanda to clear that. But you know, so there's also metaphysical stuff too. You know, it's like it could even be like your own mother that is so protective of you, of not want, like for me, my own mother didn't want me to experience the same heartache as an adult with relationships. And so she had embedded in me of never getting married, and to this day I've never gotten married. And I call it like it's a metaphysical notochord. You know, so there's this physical energy attachment that gets so, you know, I think Jenny would relate this to like ancestral, you know, inheritance, but I would refer to it as a thing called notochord, which is energetically connected. And, you know, with the kind of work that we do, and even what Amanda does, we can easily clear that. But again, the individual that we work with needs to want to make that change. They have the belief system that that solution can work for them. And so many other things. But hey, Janine, you know, when you bumped off again, my guys are telling me there's these 2 little gremlins that's messing with your internet. Is it okay if we do a clearing for you? So hopefully, if she can hear me, you think she can hear me? No, she's cut off again.
I think she's cut off again.
Oh shucks. Okay. All right.
I think she's in and on and off.
We'll clear it for her for the next session. But poor thing. I need permission to do it. Okay. Okay, let's keep this going. So I have a question for Minna. So Minna, I in my journeys of entrepreneurship, you know, I've done many different businesses as well, and wore many different multiple hats. And so for you, and I guess for our audience that probably have gone down that path too, with the Chronic Health Collective, when you encounter that, you're experiencing many different things and you're wanting to do so many different stuff. How did you find where to narrow your focus and then get you to where you're at now?
For me, it is about really focusing on what I'm looking for, what I really want, and be able to say no to everything else, regardless of whether it's like urgent, they're really coming to beg you for help or whatever it is. If it's not in my vision, it doesn't fit my path, I would say no to it. And sometimes it's hard to do because like it could be coming from people you love, but that's like the only way you can actually achieve your dreams is to focus on what you want.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that part of your journey, that the belief system was things that you had to work through to get to this point as well, to be able to say no to things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, belief system is definitely important. Support system is also important. I do have a spouse here that I guess he's kind of good. So I'll let him talk about it. But yeah, support system is important, and your belief system is important.
All right.
Got anything to add, Annie?
Yes, I do. What's interesting is like what Don said in the beginning is we have done one season of the Chronic Health Collective. And after we finished the master class, we're just having a powwow how we can make season 2 much, I don't want to say better, but more accessible to people, right? So first of all, the first thing I'm going to announce is not, most people are always saying, where do we watch it? Well, you can find us on Facebook Live. You can find us on e360tv.com. It's a TV station on the Vitality Network. You can find us on YouTube. But one of the new things we're going to do starting season 2 is you can be able to find us on podcasts also. So you should be able to find us on all the popular podcasts like Apple, Spotify, and everything. I am working on that right now. So hopefully it will go live next week. And hopefully we will be able to put all the past episodes on there. But the other exciting thing that we all discuss how we can make a bigger impact out there is we are working on a private Chronic Health Collective membership, right? And in this private membership, each of the coaches each week is going to share a live training with Q&A, right? This is going to be a great way, just like so right now, how we're Q&Aing each other, because there are questions that each of us always have, right? We got that burning question, and we don't know when to ask it, or we don't know how to ask it, right? Our membership is going to allow us to have those abilities after those sessions. So you're going to learn a lot from each of the coaches. This is going to be the coach's way of giving back to the community. Top of that, on the membership, we're going to have a lot of other exciting extras on there that we'll talk about as we get the membership up. But on top of that, each week, there's going to be a half an hour session that each of us coaches, I don't even know if that's proper English, Christy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but each of us coaches here will have 30-minute sessions that you can ask us whatever freak you want, right? That burning question is not going to be a discovery call. You basically set the time, we're all going to have one half an hour session that we will answer whatever questions you have, that burning desire you have to answer. You're too ashamed to ask anyone else. Ask us. We'll give you the answer right up front. No beating around the bush. It'll be concentrated on whatever question you ask. Right. Once again, we really want to be out there helping you weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. We want to help you in every aspect of your life, and that's what the Chronic Health Collective is. If you look at it, we are so many different flavors of ice cream here, right? And we have specialties in so many different areas of life that I can guarantee you, no matter what you're struggling with, we're going to have an answer for that. And like I said, each week we're going to have one of our coaches have a special time off there. And like I said, we're going to have a lot more exciting things on there as we go out and get that membership up. The other thing that we're going to change is this is going to be new and refreshing, and all of you are going to find out after our first episode with Janine is we are not going to be doing the conventional, interviewing, the host and conventional hosts and guests. We're letting the coach of the week decide what they want to do for the show that week. This is going to be very exciting because depending on what their flavor is that week, they can be sharing their expertise. We're going to have more opportunities to share workshops that we're going to be putting together. We're already working with a few of the coaches together to put mini workshops, like live workshops together, where we can reach out to more and more people locally. Hopefully, we can expand on our virtual events, and hopefully, we're going to have a big, complete Chronic Health Collective as a live event sometime in this coming year. But, definitely there's a lot more momentum going on. We are all working together to build out the community, to share more, and to answer more questions that may be burning in the back of your head, but too chicken to ask. Anyone else want to add to that? Don't leave me hanging. Come on, Christy.
I knew you were going to do that.
I mean, as one of the panelists.
Go for it.
Oh no, it might be my internet. I think for me as one of the panelists, it's exciting and it's also scary, because before we had a clear format, and now we are each going to bring whatever flavor, whatever color, whatever is hot in our hopper that we can be so much more passionate about, because we have the opportunity to do a workshop. We have an opportunity to bring one of the other coaches on and just banter, and instead of being in that traditional format. I'm sure there's some of us who will go back to that traditional format, say, here, ask me this list of questions, but there's just going to be so much more variety that I think it's going to be something to look forward to. Each week is going to be so different, so I'm excited.
Christy?
You couldn't let it go. You just couldn't let it go. No, just for reference, Andy, I gave up being a grammar cop a long time ago. It's no fun at all. No, I really like it. It's a nice balance with the Chronically Healthy Life show on Friday, where we will continue with our interview format with our guests. But what I'm really looking forward to is the opportunity to play in the summit. Amanda and Dawn helped me by coming on and playing with me. And instead of me being a talking head talking at the screen, it was more of an interactive experience. And for me in the education world, that's the way it has to be. So I just think that the more we experience real people in the real, even if it's virtual like this, we're still experiencing each other as real people. And I think we need that in our world. So join us, everybody. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We are here for you. Absolutely.
I love that. Minna, any thoughts on closing thoughts before we end this episode?
Well, of course, we still have a magazine. So, whatever you didn't get from us through the show, we check out our magazine. There's a lot of good stuff in there too.
Yes, and you can reach out to us at chronichealthcollective.com. It's going to have all the coaches on there, along with the best way to reach out to them. You can download our magazine, sign up for our magazine on there. But like I said, like what Amanda and Chrissy says, this is going to be a fun, interactive way where we can get each of the coaches to interact with the memberships. Right now, I'll just I wanted to throw Leandra under the bus one more time, is because I'm the only guy here. You guys are all picking on me. It would be fun to have a speed dating thing on there, right? That would be sort of fun. But
that's how I met my husband.
Right. So, I think this is going to be a great opportunity. Please reach out at chronichealthcollective.com. I'm going to be updating with all the new coaches on there, and our, October magazine is going to be ready in about a couple of days. Give me a couple more days. We're going to have that available for all the coaches to share. And hopefully, you're going to be able to see our other coaches, Cable Jones, Jessica Hammock, which is one of our, OGs. And of course, Fearless Generations when they come back next week. But thank you, everyone, for being here. And if today's episode spoke to you, because this is going to be a totally new format for season 2, please don't do it alone. I think what Dawn says is so true. So many of us, we think that we need to make a change in our life, but we need to want it, right? And once you figure out what you want to change in your life, we are here to help you change that, right? We're going to help you raise your awareness to change what you need to change in life. And we're going to help you reach your goals, right? Regardless of whatever it be. So make sure you book your free consult with one of our expert coaches at chronichealthcollective.com for personalized support. And once we have our membership up and running, sign up for the membership. You can reach out to us one-on-one on that. That'll be really fun. And like Minna says, make sure you subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 11 coaches to elevate your health, mindset, and relationships. Catch us live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. CST, or watch any past episodes on e360tv.com on the Vitality Network, youtube.com at Chronic Health Collective, and upcoming on every single podcast up there available. Thanks for tuning in. Your transformation starts now, and we'll see you all next week.